Welcome along to St George's Park for 4th against 9th in the WSL, a match that Arsenal simply cannot afford to slip up in if they are to harbour realistic Champions League aspirations next season. Manchester United winning 3-0 against Aston Villa in the early game means that the Red Devils are now 9 points clear of the Gunners, who have 2 games in hand on their rivals, including this one. Birmingham City heading out first there in the traditional blue and white colours, and now here come the Gunners, with goalkeeper Lydia Williams in all orange, and then the rest of the players in maroon and then white shirts, which will be unveiled once those tracksuits come off. Show me on tomorrow's players, knowing that 3 points is absolutely critical today. The so-called big three in previous seasons of Chelsea, Manchester City and Arsenal, without doubt becoming a big four this season, with Manchester United really stepping into gear after a very creditable first season in the WSL last time around. As for Birmingham, they know that they're 5 points clear of bottom club Bristol. 1 point or 3 from this game for the Blues can pull them further clear of those relegation worries. We are at St George's Park in Burton-on-Trent in the Derbyshire countryside. Don't be deceived by the sun, and we had Mr Blue Sky on earlier. It is bitterly cold. There is a bit of a wind blowing as well as the two teams go through the pre-match routines. Of course, handshakes very much a thing of early 2020 and years before, with the coronavirus era very much in play. So let's take a look at your teams. Birmingham City have made 3 changes from the side that lost here 4-0 against Manchester City last Sunday. Of course, playing at St George's Park because their current home ground not considered up to requirements. Emma Kelly, Molly Green and Chloe McCarron come in. Lucy Whipp, Jamie Lee Napier and surprisingly Claudia Walker all drop out. Walker has 5 goals for the Blues this season, scoring exactly half of their entire league tally. As for the Gunners, they've made 2 alterations from the team that won 4-0 at Aston Villa last Sunday. Lottie Wubben-Moy comes in for centre-half Jen Beattie, who's got a problem with a hamstring tightness that came up after the Villa game. She's being assessed and treated by the medical team. And Caitlin Ford is coming for her first WSL start in a month, replacing Jill Roord. Jordan Nobbs captains the Gunners. It's her chance to yet again make an impression. She's only actually started 5 games this season, Jordan Nobbs, but when she has, she's been mightily effective. 3 goals and 3 assists. She was back in the 11 and captaining last weekend in what was her first WSL start since late December, and was central to an Arsenal side that comfortably routed Aston Villa. Nobbs scoring and involved in multiple other goals too. Nobbs on the right-hand side as we're looking at things, and on the left, one of our NHS heroes, Harriet Scott, the Birmingham City fullback and captain, who is combining her WSL duties with fine work on the front line. The referee today is Elizabeth Sims, ably assisted by Emily Carney and Lauren Immy. Elliot Swain, the 4th official. I'm Michael McCann, your commentator. Wherever you are in the world, it is a pleasure to have your company as we look to see if Birmingham City can pull off something of an upset. They're winless in the WSL at home in a year and a half across their last 9 home games, drawing just 2 of those. But of course, due to a decision by the league's Executive Operations Committee that Birmingham's current home ground at Solihull Moors FC is not meeting league requirements, their new home, until further notice, is an FA headquarters in the Derbyshire countryside at the National Football Centre here at St George's Park in Burton-on-Trent. That's your venue for this game. One, of course, of 5 WSL matches today, and 2 kicking off at the same time as us. Moment to appreciate the inclusivity of the WSL. So 4th against 9th. Arsenal cannot afford to drop points here. They will lose yet further ground if they do so in the race for Champions League football next season. And well, we've had something of a false start there. That is the most bizarre start to a game of football I've seen in quite a long time. The team's kicked off and pretty much immediately decided that the ball was not fit for purpose. And now Birmingham City are going to have to throw it back. Slightly strange one, but we are off and underway. Arsenal knowing that Manchester United have gone 9 points clear of them thanks to that 3-0 win against Aston Villa earlier in the day. The Gunners need to reclose that gap back to 6. They do have 2 games in hand on their top 3 rivals, and this being one of them. As for Birmingham, they have 11 points from 12 games. Should have enough to stay up this season, but it won't rest easy when that gap to bottom club Birmingham City is only 5 points, albeit there's also Aston Villa and West Ham sandwiched between the two of them. That's won by Littlejohn, and it needed the interception from Van der Donk, who recovered well. First corner of the game. It will go to Birmingham City. Also going on now, Brighton versus Tottenham and Manchester City versus Everton. You can also see those games on the FA Player, and then West Ham and Chelsea kicks off in just under an hour. First corner of the game. Not a bad ball in either, and Williams came for it and didn't get there. If you did miss it earlier, Manchester United beating Aston Villa 3-0 thanks to goals from Kirsty Hansen, Jess Sigsworth and Katie Zellum. That makes this game all the more important. The Gunners under early pressure. As you can see, so many players pretty much on the goal line. That's where it's going. Another awkward delivery. Williams does just enough. Lydia Williams being put under some early pressure. Sarah Mathing to take again, and you can guarantee she'll be aiming for that same area. In swinging underneath the crossbar. There it goes again, and if someone was at the back post, that really could have been trouble. Birmingham City prevent the goal kick, or maybe not quite. It's a bright start, though, from the Blues, who had a pretty horrible afternoon of it last week here against Manchester City. Now Sunday, Sam Mewis with a double either side of half-time, and then goals from Lauren Hemp and Caroline Weir secured a 4-0 win for the citizens. McCabe to take the throw. Decent long throw as well. Now to bounce, flicked on by Miedemar. Just couldn't quite get the shot away. Williamson recycles for Arsenal. Ball in behind by Ruben Moy. Now Birmingham can break. Murphy. Well tackled. Nicely held up by Miedemar. He's well stopped by Broom. And then Arsenal win their first corner of the game. So now it will be the Gunners with the chance to test their opponents from a set piece. Good ball in from McCabe and headed off the post. So close from Miedema. You normally expect to score from there. She's never scored against Birmingham City, despite getting 55 FA WSL goals. So close to putting Arsenal in front. Worked by Williamson. Now McCabe. Mead crosses. Miedema takes it down and just miscues it. Not often you find yourself saying that phrase as a commentator, but not Vivianne Miedema's very best. Just to run you through those starting 11s. It's taken a moment to do so because it's been a pretty breathless opening while or so, but Arsenal in their 4-3-3 formation, we expect. Lydia Williams in goal, back four from right to left of Noel Maritz, who came in last week against Aston Villa. Leah Williamson, Lottie Wubben-Moy and Katie McCabe. Midfield three of Leah Welty, Danielle van der Donk and Jordan Nobbs as captain. And then Beth Mead out on the right wing, Caitlin Ford, the Australian international, out on the left side, supporting Vivianne Miedema. As for Birmingham City, Hannah Hampton in goal, back four of Harriet Scott, Georgia Broom, Ruby Mace, who's on loan from Arsenal but has been allowed to play against her parent club by the Gunners, and Rebecca Holloway at left back. A midfield five of Molly Green, Chloe McCarran, Ruisha Littlejohn, Sarah Mailing and Emma Kelly, supporting Emily Murphy as the lone striker. Arsenal trying to break the press. They're attacking down this right flank, and the wide areas could be really important today for the Gunners because similarly to Aston Villa, who they played last Sunday, Birmingham City will sit most probably in a central low block, very deep, and Arsenal will try and use these wide areas to drag players out, eventually create space in field. Set wide now for Nobbs. Combines with McCabe. And as you can see, Birmingham City effectively on what some of you play five-a-side might almost know as a half-court press. Quite content to let Arsenal have the ball on the halfway line and even just inside their own half. Williamson is very good at breaking the press with the ball at her feet. Now Ford, round the corner. Mead. Mead's got round the back. Oh, she's kept it in. That's great skill from Mead. Eventually dispossessed, though. And then Williamson blasts it over. And the two benches today for Arsenal, Manuela Zinsberger and Fran Stenson, the two backup keepers. And then six outfield options, Marlene Gut, Anna Patton, Lisa Evans, Leonie Meyer, Jo Rord and Kim Little. As for Birmingham City, they have Sophie Whitehouse and Libby Hart as the two backup keepers. And there's outfield options in the form of Christy Murray, Lucy Whipp, Jamie Lee Napier, Gemma Lawley, and to my surprise, Claudia Walker. They've scored 5 of their 10 goals this season, but it's been taken out of the starting lineup today. Hurried clearance from Hampton, hands the ball back to Arsenal. Birmingham City already under early pressure here. Haven't quite managed to properly test Hampton yet, but Vivianne Miedema has, of course, hit the post. Most notable thing from that Birmingham City bench, Christy Murray returning to the bench after injury. Here come Arsenal, Ruben Moy. It's towards McCabe. Birmingham City get the decision, and it's going to be important today that they at least try and keep the ball a little bit just to relieve some pressure, to ask a side to defend non-stop with full concentration, and keep a team like Arsenal up for 90 minutes is one heck of an ask. And it was something that Carla Ward highlighted last week after that defeat against Manchester City. They weren't able to keep the ball for any real period of any notable time in the game, to just relieve the pressure on themselves a bit, or win some set pieces, find a way to get themselves into the Manchester City half. So passages of play like now are going to be crucial, because Joe Montemuro's Arsenal do like to press high up the pitch. Carla Ward on that far touchline, who had a level of criticism about the referee last time these two teams played each other that was so significant it actually led to a touchline ban and a fine. Indeed, Carla Ward's Birmingham don't exactly have happy history against Arsenal. 3-0 loss at Meadow Park in December, Ford, Roard and Little on target. The last time these two met with Birmingham City, the home team, was way back in March 2019, when a late goal from Katie McCabe put Arsenal within 2 wins of the league title. The league title that they did, of course, go on to secure, but last season missed out, finishing third on points per game, 3 points behind Chelsea, who won the title on that metric. Williamson with a hurried clearance. Back in by Holloway. One back from deep. McCabe half ran into trouble, but managed to come out of it the better against Mailing. Arsenal trying to stretch the play. And these two fullbacks, McCabe wearing number 15, and then Noel Maritz wearing 16, are going to be really important in that regard. McCabe in particular offers such an attacking threat, the second highest assister in the WSL this season, as Littlejohn gives it away. And then the foul is drawn. Arsenal a bit unhappy that a card isn't coming out, but referee Elizabeth Sims seems happy enough with the free kick as punishment. Birmingham City just standing over it, just trying to break up the Gunners' rhythm. Arsenal would much prefer to play this game at a faster tempo. Both teams very well aware of that. Could be Mead on her right foot, or McCabe on her left, straight into the wall. Back in from McCabe. Bit of a scrap for it. Ford did well. McCabe recycles. Now that's a good ball in. You can see the urgency from Jordan Nobbs running to the corner flag. That's exactly what I mentioned about tempo. Arsenal want to play this game at a quick pace. Taken short. Now the low cross. Away by Ruby Mace, the Arsenal loanee, 17-year-old who joined Birmingham on loan from the Gunners in January. Trains with Arsenal for the first half of each week to get the intensity of the Gunners training, the chance to train alongside the world-class players they have in their ranks, and then joins Birmingham in the second half of the week, closer towards match day. Indeed, Birmingham boss Carla Ward joked that Arsenal weren't keen her to play against her own club, but a promise of a bottle of wine for Joe Montemuro did the trick. For those interested in the formal side of things, league rules actually leave the decision about loanees to being between the two clubs. But Montemuro, on a serious note, said that it was not a difficult decision and that it was valuable experience for Ruby Mace. If she keeps a clean sheet and scores a header up from a set piece, and Birmingham City win 1-0 to dent the Gunners' Champions League aspirations, one does referee maybe say the same thing. And I say that slightly in jest, of course. Given away by Walty. Little flick on. Van der Donk couldn't quite bring it down. They're already pushing and probing Arsenal. The game is starting to take the pattern we thought it might. Birmingham City on the back foot, content to sit deep. Patient passing from Arsenal. Ruben Moy. The sun's just dipped down behind the clouds. Sent cross field, almost falls for McCabe. Nobbs battling for it, loses out. And then that's the problem for Birmingham City. They've just had to defend for good 2 or 3 minutes on the trot, and as soon as they've won it back, it's just hoofed downfield pretty aimlessly. And we're then back to square one. And that is a very difficult thing to do against such a good side as Arsenal. But it should be said that they've had their problems on the road. 10 points from 7 games, but here they come through McCabe. Not a bad ball across. The captain for Birmingham, Harriet Scott, was there. It's another short corner. Arsenal were a big fan of that form. Whipped in, only half cleared and skied over. It's the 4th time of 4 today where they've opted for that short corner. As we look ahead to the rest of this season, some good recent news as well, with the announcement that the Women's FA Cup will resume at the end of this month after the government's relaxation of COVID-19 restrictions will allow non-elite teams to train and play. Space for Ruben Moy. Now inside for McCabe. Such a valuable creator for Arsenal. And then space for Miedema to strike. Just guides it wide. She's had a couple of half chances now, and unusually for her, hasn't been able to take them. Hit the post early on as well. She hasn't scored against Birmingham City in the WSL. Pretty surprising statistic when you remember the Blues have been in the division for a considerable period of time, and Miedema has scored 55 WSL goals, the joint most along with Ellen White. She's had 21 shots against Birmingham today without scoring, who've taken this short and very nearly put themselves in all sorts of bother, trying to break the Arsenal press, and they've done it well. Now ball in behind for Murphy to chase. Williamson under pressure. Williamson can't prevent the corner. That is the best passage of play we've seen in the first 20 minutes from Birmingham City, no doubt about it. They broke the press confidently. At one point it looked A bit harem-scarum, but they found their way out. They've ended up the other end with their fourth corner of the match. They had 3 in the first couple of minutes. And they did cause some problems from them. Decent ball in. Williams did well. Got a little hand out just to poke it away. Set wide, chance for Arsenal on the counter. Not short of options as well, Mead. But look at those blue and white shirts streaming back. Good defensive diligence from the Blues. Going to need that to get anything today. Miedemar on, McCabe. Now the cross can come in. Taken down, surely, and no! Over the bar. What a golden chance that was. Probably should be 1-0. Once it was chested down, you expected the net to bulge. Though the game does always look easy from the commentary box. Now, it will be interesting to see what Birmingham City do here. Hampton's gone cross-field, and Scott can't keep it in. They played out from the back last time, from pretty much their own goal. Managed to earn themselves a corner up the other end of the pitch, but that was a bit more route one from Scott, had too much on it. Crossfield towards McCabe, who takes it down really nicely. Cuts inside. Still going, McCabe. Mazy run. Heavy touch from Miedemar. Cleaned up nicely by Walty. He helps it back. Comes to nothing. And you might well be able to hear the goal kick setup being discussed from a tactical viewpoint. Arsenal coming closest so far. The WSL's top scorer this season, Vivianne Miedemar, hitting the post early on. She's already got 13 in the league this time around. At least 2 better than anyone else. The Chelsea pair of Sam Kerr and Fran Kirby have 11 each. Arsenal, as expected, dominating possession. But Birmingham have been bright on the counter-attack, on the rare Forest forward that they've had. Ruben Moy. Even Williams coming a long, long way from home. Williamson on. Mead round the back. Chance to cross, overhit though. McCabe can't get that. No doubt Birmingham City will be the happier of the two with the quarter mark of this game gone, the midpoint of the first half reached and passed. They've got there without conceding. They can be a very awkward side when you take out the so-called big four of Chelsea, Manchester City, Man U and Arsenal. They've been the best defensively in the rest of the other teams in the division. The 4 goals that they conceded against Manchester City here last weekend was the most they conceded in a WSL game since mid-September, pardon me, when they lost 5-2 to Manchester United. Ball across, chested down, McCabe couldn't get there and dragged wide by Nobbs. Well, that was another chance. But for all they've had opportunities, they haven't really actually tested Hannah Hampton yet in the Birmingham City goal. But this is Arsenal, and you feel like that's surely only a matter of time until it changes. They've scored 44 goals this season in 14 games. That's a strike rate of just over 3 goals a game on average. Only Manchester City have scored more goals this season. It's been a curious season. They've won plenty of games by big, big margins, Arsenal. On 9-1 at West Ham, 6-1 at home against Reading, 4-0 at home against Tottenham, 5-0 at Brighton, 6-1 against Spurs in the league, having beaten them 4-0 in the Cup. But had 4 defeats as well, 4 very damaging defeats. Lost 1-0 at Manchester United. Lost 2-1 against Manchester City in the Cup, 4-1 against Chelsea in the Cup. And then in the league, it's been the last couple of months hasn't been kind to them. 3 losses in their last 6 WSL games. That's really derailed their potential title push, which looks a long way off now, and the priorities more become the top 3 in Champions League football next season. 2 defeats against Manchester City, both by 2-1 in each of their league fixtures this season. And a 3-0 loss against Chelsea almost exactly a month ago. One forward for Murphy to chase against Williamson. Ruben Moy. Not the most convincing back pass, but it was good enough. Now Williamson. Intercepted. Played forward nicely by Green into the feet of Murphy, who loses out. Now here come Arsenal. Van der Donk. That's the option of Nobbs. Nobbs puts it in, great ball in, and not quite turned in. That was a super cross from Nobbs. Just didn't quite get the finish it deserved. Forward charging in at that back post, but the Australian forward just couldn't quite get there. Well, the only goal kick where Birmingham City have passed their way out from the back was a very successful one, but they seem hesitant to try the same again. And indeed, yeah, players are beckoned up the pitch, so they won't be trying that here. Certainly got no shortage of goals in them this season. The Gunners, Caitlin Ford and Jill Roord, have 7 each. Ford into the starting lineup today. Roord on the bench if needed. Champions League football, of course, so important for Arsenal. It's a competition in which they reached the quarter-finals as recently as last season. Jay Montemurro in charge since late 2017. And it will be a concern to them that this season they haven't beaten any of the 3 teams above them in the table. They'll have a chance to put that right in 12 days' time. Friday night match on the 19th of March at home against Manchester United. come Birmingham City on the break. Cross on the run from Scott, easily caught by Williams. Ruben Moy, now Leah Williamson, the longest player to reach 100 appearances in Arsenal's history. McCabe. She's a real creative force from left-back Katie McCabe. And again, she's offering on the overlap, but Nobbs looks infield. Williamson, so composed on the ball. Nearly an interception from Murphy. That was good strength from Miedemar. Held off the challenge from Risha Littlejohn and eventually drew the frustrated foul. Mead. Oh, it's a lovely run from Mead, who's found space. Great ball towards Nobbs. Sets it for McCabe to hit one, and she really can hit them. Scored a belter in the 4-0 win against Aston Villa last Sunday. She's not bad from that kind of a crossing position either, that she had when on the ball just there. Arsenal recycle. You can see just how deep Birmingham City is sat. Hanging just outside the edge of their own penalty area. Jinking run from Mead. Cross from McCabe. Just trying to mesmerise Birmingham City and pass their way through. It's a decent ball in. And there was Sarah Mailing in the right place at the right time. Katie McCabe to deliver. Second highest assister in the WSL this season. It is a good ball in and dragged wide by Nobbs. Corner given, so it's clearly taken a flick off Birmingham foot on the way through. McCabe to deliver again. Only Chloe Kelly has more assists in the WSL this season. Very good from the dead ball with that wand of a left foot. Floated in, headed down away by Hampton, and it was there for Ruben Moy, who could only smash it into one of the covering Birmingham City defence. Unconvincing at the back, pardon me, from the Blues, about as unconvincing as my ability to finish the sentence. But joking aside, palmed into harm's way by Hannah Hampton, whose defence bailed her out. Pretty theatrical way of going down there. Must say it didn't look like much of a foul to me, and referee Sims agreed. Birmingham City's breakout doesn't work, and so back to where a lot of this game has been. Suddenly they try and press high up the pitch. Littlejohn going for it and nearly catching Arsenal out. Great ball over the top. It was towards Miedemar. Should be cleaned up, is cleaned up, only as far as McCabe. Do dominate this head-to-head, Arsenal. 4 straight wins in it. Scoring 9 and conceding just 1 in that time. Looking further back, Birmingham City have only won 1 of their last 12 against the Gunners in the league. Surprise 3-0 win back in April 2018. Drawing just 2 of those 12 head-to-heads and losing the other 9. Miedemar helps it on. Nobbs. Miedemar again. Trying to make room. Does make room. Miedemar. Again off target for the 3rd time today. Very uncharacteristic. Vivian Miedema up to 24 shots in her career against Birmingham City without scoring in the WSL. One of those slightly odd and surprising statistics. Not necessarily any particular reason for it to be the case, but just so happens that none of her 55 goals in the league have come against the Blues. Littlejohn recycles well. Now forward. Well, Birmingham City stopped. Flag up. Now Arsenal can rebuild. Arsenal needing to get some consistency back. They've had a pretty rough patch in the WSL. Nobbs. First time cross on the volley. Flicked header. Hampton was there. Surely bundled in. It is. But the flag is up. It won't count. Arsenal are furious. The goal won't stand. Hampton came. Didn't get there. Arsenal eventually managed to bundle the ball into the net. But the flag was immediately up on that far side from the assistant Emily Carney. So it remains 0-0. It does seem like the goal has been given.
Scoring the game's opening goal for Arsenal, number 19, Caitlin Ford.
So the goal is confirmed. Caitlin Ford has scored. I must say, I'm not the only one here at St James's Park who's a touch confused because the flag had gone up. Very much appeared to clearly rule it out. Referee Emily Carney, but... well, our assistant referee Emily Carney, I should say, to be precise. And our primary referee, Elizabeth Sims, has said, nope, goal given. So after some confusion, can confirm that Emily Carney's flag was disregarded. And after 37 minutes, Caitlin Ford's 8th WSL goal of the season has put Arsenal in front. Ball in behind, Miedema. You have to feel a little bit for Birmingham City. It wasn't the best bit of defence for the goal, but did seem to have been ruled out. And now it could be two. It is two. 2 goals in 2 minutes, and Arsenal take control. Ball into the box, not cleared. And now, in the blink of an eye, it goes from 0-0 to 2-0 Arsenal. Birmingham City switching off after conceding that first goal. And now the Blues in deep, deep trouble. And Arsenal, who desperately need these points in the chase for the top 3, have got themselves in total control.
Arsenal, number 19, Caitlin Ford.
Caitlin Ford with 2 goals in as many minutes. So Caitlin Ford on to 9 WSL goals this season. Chasing her teammate Vivian Miedema up the scoring charts. Miedema with 13 across the campaign. Miedema. Could be 3 before half-time yet. Nobbs. Intercepted by Georgia Broom. Well, they defended so well and so bravely, Birmingham City. But after that slightly confusing first goal, it's a long, long way back now at 2-0. McCabe's ball in. Flicked on, not cleared. They do get it away eventually. Walty. Up to 46 league goals for the season now. Manchester City, the first team to hit 50. McCabe's ball in, overhit. Chelsea have scored 47 so far across the campaign. Chelsea in action against West Ham, kicking off in 15 minutes' time. Of course, goal difference could be very important this season as well, so Arsenal won't want to just sit comfortably on a 2-0 lead. They want to grab as many as they possibly can. Currently, Chelsea and Manchester City 9 points better off than them in terms of goal difference. But Arsenal do at the very least have a much, much better goal difference than Manchester United. Miedema helps it on. Multi-wide, looking for Mead, cut out by Holloway. Taken down by Ruben Moy. No goals elsewhere. Brighton and Tottenham, as well as Man City versus Everton, both at 0-0. As here comes Nobbs. Nobbs to make it 3. Well saved by Hampton. Scored in the win against Villa last Sunday. Nearly grabbed herself one there, the Arsenal captain. By her very, very high standards, didn't actually quite hit the shot as cleanly as she might have liked, Jordan Nobbs. Still, Hampton had to make a good save to her right, and she did. You can see Birmingham City have been rocked by conceding that first goal. They haven't really recovered. They'll just be desperate to get through to half-time now, a chance to regroup. Well, Carla Ward said that this match would be as tough for Birmingham City as the Manchester City game. That she loves these games. It's a free hit, a chance to test yourself against the best. Well, they're certainly being tested. Arsenal pushing for a third before half-time. McCabe. Wide for Nobbs. McCabe again. Space out here for Van der Donk. In behind for Nobbs. Well cleared by Scott, under pressure. And a little foot on it. Birmingham City will have the relief of the throw. It's a good tackle on Littlejohn. The half-time whistle imminent. Hasn't been many stoppages in this first half, so don't imagine there'll be much time added on of any real note. Possibly just the cursory 1 minute. As Williams comes out of her goal. Joe Montemurro said we're ready to give everything we've got between now and the end of the season. We know what's needed. Going into every game with nothing but getting the win on our mind. It's been a first half where they haven't taken a lot of their chances, but they found 2 goals in the end, and they're pushing for that third. Nobbs' shot well blocked by Scott. That was very good defending from the Birmingham City captain. But if this isn't to turn into something of an inevitable march to 3 points for Arsenal, Birmingham City are going to have to really change the momentum of this game at the start of the second period. Apart from a few set pieces early on, not really had much of the ball in the Arsenal half at all.
One additional minute at the end of the first half. 1 minute.
As I suspected, just the 1 minute added on at the end of this first period. McCabe back to the safety of Williams. Arsenal with just 11 points in their last 9 WSL games. 3 wins, 2 draws and 4 losses. I'll say when I first checked that statistic myself, I had to recheck it. I was so surprised. It's not a points tally across a long period of time you'd associate with Arsenal in the WSL. Desperate to get back on a more regular winning path. They had 6 straight wins through to October. Going back to February and last season. Here's McCabe, hunting a third before half-time. It's not a bad ball towards Mead. Birmingham City just about get it clear, but end the first half in deep trouble against Arsenal, who've pushed and probed and eventually got their rewards. A slightly odd first goal from Caitlin Ford that seemed to have been ruled out by the assistant referee, Emily Carney, but eventually was given. And then just 2 minutes later, Ford grabbed her second to take her tally this season up to 9 WSL goals. At the break here at St James's Park, it's Arsenal who are in control. It's Birmingham City 0, Arsenal 2.